name's Jeff Wiener. I'm with Digicom.
I'm EJ McComb with Digicom.
And today we're going to talk to you about the Avaya IP Office Release 9.1. I'm going to explain the difference between Preferred Edition and Server/Select. With Release 9.1, there are essentially 5 versions of IP Office. There's Basic, Essential, Preferred, Server, and then Select. And the reasons for buying these different versions vary depending on size of system, complexity, redundancy. What I want to show you right now is where Preferred Edition fits and what it looks like, and the difference between Preferred Edition and Server Edition. And EJ is going to help me out. He's going to help from a technical perspective, and the two of us are going to figure this out. So the IP Office Preferred Edition, what it would look like is you've got a main cabinet. We're going to call this the Avaya IP Office. This would be a 500 V2 cabinet, and this would be running Release 9.1 software. And connected to this, you have a voicemail system. And that voicemail system could either be on a Windows server. What do we have? 2008, 2012? Does this still work on 2012?
Yep. Our application server.
Right. So then if we were to install a second IP Office cabinet, what we have essentially now, we can bridge these two systems together. We create what Avaya calls a small community network. So if you have a phone system, let's say sitting in Toronto and another one sitting in Chicago, for example, and you have 20 users on this system and 30 users on this system, you could share desk to desk and have desk to desk dialing between these two phone systems. But effectively, you have two separate phone systems that are programmed separately and managed separately, both talking to each other, and they can essentially talk to one voicemail system. Now, with Preferred Edition, you can have 32 sites in a small community network. Is that right?
That's right. Well, you can have 32 in that one as well, right?
Right, in this model.
Sites.
Right. So we can have 32 separate 500 V2 systems, all essentially sharing one voicemail system. Now, although there's redundancy in this picture, and you can have one of these cabinets fail to the other and vice versa, and you can do the same with the voicemail, what Server and Select Edition does is it effectively provides for an expanded capacity beyond what the 500 V2 systems can support. So 500 V2, what's the most number of extensions you can have in a Preferred Edition small community network? Do you know what that is?
Be 1,500, I believe.
So 1,500, so you can have 200, 200, 200 on each system. So what happens when you go to the Server Edition is we essentially we call this Server Edition. So Server or Select Edition, and I'm going to talk about them both as if they're one system. So what happens when we have Server Edition is all of the programming now comes off of the V2 cabinet, and it essentially gets provisioned and programmed by the Server Edition box. So all the management, all the licenses, all the administration, everything is now maintained by this one cabinet. Keeping in mind with the version prior, so Preferred Edition, you had box and voicemail. You now have, let's just call it a gateway if you will, and another gateway. And up here, we have the main brain of the system. So we offboard.
And this guy would be up there, right?
So you don't need the voicemail, right? So take that off.
Part of the Server Edition.
Okay. Good. So we now have the voicemail sitting in here and all the programming in here.
Sure.
You can take, if a company had, for example, a 500 V2 cabinet and another one here and decided at a later date to upgrade to Server Edition, you can take the programming from here and here, and of course we can install more systems in this picture, and you could move all that programming up to here. The Server Edition supports up to 32 sites and 2,000 extensions, is it, or 2,500?
That's right, 2,000 for the Server Edition.
Okay, yep. And then there's one version above that called Select Edition, same concept, has a little bit different redundancy options, capability, and it also has a bit higher growth capacity. It will grow to 2,500 users and per system and 300 in the entire network, is that right?
Sorry?
3,000 extensions?
3,000 extensions across the entire thing. 2,500 is the largest on one single Server Edition. Yep.
Right. So now, instead of having to program this and program this, we program this, and this propagates its information. We're going to have some other videos where we'll talk about the redundancy and how you could make these boxes redundant to one another. But the purpose of this video was just to outline the difference between preferred edition and server/select. I'm Jeff with Digicom, here with EJ, and thanks for watching.